So one way to take a poll or survey is what I refer to as an in-the-moment survey or an in-the-moment poll. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up my Zoom app. Now, please note, I am going directly from the app into Zoom. I am not going through a web browser to the Zoom website and then going to the app. I'm just going straight through the app. And I'm going to start a meeting. Now, if you're like a lot of us, you're just starting a meeting based on your personal meeting ID. Okay, that's this one. That way your students can just revisit the same one every single time when they log in. They don't need to change anything. Okay, and that down the road we're going to talk about that. But I'm just going to start that up. Now, it didn't happen this time, but just FYI, every so often, I don't know the reason for this, but every so often I start up a meeting and for some reason, usually you use this button right here. Every so often I'll zoom in and this button doesn't appear when I initially log in, but once somebody else joins the meeting, then this appears. I don't know why that is. So that gives me some trepidation because maybe I want to log in 10 minutes early and set up some polls. And so what I would do is in fact set up the polls ahead of time. But again, we'll talk about that down the road. Now let's say you're in a class meeting, you're talking to students, and you want to just take a poll right then and there. So what you do is you click on polls and you click add a question. And then of course you get a page where you can add things in. You can just add in questions right then. And I've got this window set up a little weird here, so I don't want you to see everything. But basically, you enter a title. Let's say this is, I'm just going to call it favorite color. Of course, you type in your question here. What's the color? I would most likely, with our students, click anonymous so that everything's a little bit more of a safe environment for the kids. And then you can pick your options. So let's say I'm just going to pick red or blue. Let's keep it simple. Red, blue, and these ones say optional won't show up. And this right here means single choice means they can only pick one or the other. Multiple choice would be a question if there could be more than one answer. So if they could pick red and blue, you pick multiple choice. And then you save it. So now I can launch the polling. And when I launch that, the kids will see the question, and as entries come in, I'll see these percentages change. And then because I don't have any participants, I can't really show anything, but there would be two buttons. I could either end the polling or I could show the results of the polling. Oh, actually, sorry, I'm mistaken. Once it ended, now I can either share the results, or maybe something went wrong, or maybe people have changed their opinions, and I can relaunch the polling and just relaunch the question. Okay, sharing results, of course, you get to see all the different percentages of the choices. Okay, so that's one way to do a polling, is you just launch it, and then let's stop that. And then you can you'd add in questions as you need them. So if I go back to polls, if I wanted to, I could edit things. And maybe I want to enter a second question. Okay. Now, that's one option. And the reason why I say that's one option is because I was thinking about this and, what if, let's get rid of the screen here. What if I don't want to disrupt the flow of the class? It takes a while to type in those questions and type in that information. And you tend to lose the kids, you lose their interest. So could I set things up ahead of time? And the answer is yes. So in this next video, I'm going to show you how you can set up your polling questions ahead of time. So one other piece I forgot to mention early on is this, is that a poll can contain more than one question. So far all my examples have been single questions and a single poll. But what if you have a poll? Maybe you're testing prior knowledge, let's say in math, and so your first question might be, how do you feel about decimals? And then they answer back. But then down at the bottom, to that same poll, I can ask a follow-up question. So back in my math poll, I might put, well, what about your feelings on fractions? and you can add multiple questions to a single poll. So I didn't want to mislead you with my earlier examples that one poll can contain one question or it can contain multiple questions.